My name is Claire Whitman. I'm 31 years old. 5 days before Thanksgiving, my mother called to tell me not to come to dinner. Not because of a fight, not because I did something wrong. Because my brother Ethan asked her to uninvite me. He said my job would embarrass him in front of his new girlfriend. I'm a general contractor. I build homes. I manage crews. I show up to job sites at 6 o'clock in the morning with sawdust in my hair and concrete dust on my boots. Ethan works at Bank of America headquarters in Charlotte. He wears a suit. He talks about portfolio optimization. My mother said, "You understand, don't you, honey? It's important to Ethan." I said, "I understand." I didn't tell her what I actually do. I didn't tell her about the company. I didn't tell her that in 5 days, everything she thought she knew about me would shatter in front of 280 people. They didn't know that the construction worker they were ashamed of had just been nominated for Contractor of the Year. And what they found out next would make them realize their biggest mistake wasn't uninviting me to Thanksgiving. It was never asking what I'd built in the first place. The pattern started 10 years ago. I was 21, sitting at the kitchen table in my parents' house in South Charlotte. My father was reading the paper. My mother was doing a crossword. Ethan was texting someone. I said, "I'm not going back to community college. I'm enrolling in trade school." My mother froze. "Trade school?" "Carpentry and general contracting," I said. "I start in January." My mother said, "Diane's daughter got into Duke. Linda's son is doing his MBA." My father folded his paper. "Claire, that's hard work, physical work. You're smart." "I want to build things," I said. Ethan looked up from his phone. "You're going to be a construction worker? Seriously?" My mother squeezed my hand. "We just want you to have an easier life." I said, "This is what I want." Over the next 10 years, they asked Ethan about his job every Sunday. "How's the bank? Did you get the promotion? What's your bonus looking like?" They asked me one thing. "How's work?" Not what project are you on? Not what are you building? Just how's work? When I got my contractor's license at 24, my mother said, "That's nice, honey," and asked Ethan about his promotion. When I started my company at 26, Whitman Build and Design LLC, my father said, "That's a big step." My mother said, "Just be careful, small businesses are risky." Then she asked Ethan about his dental benefits. So I stopped bringing it up. But I kept building. By year 5, Whitman Build had completed 68 projects. We employed 19 people. Last year, we brought in $2.1 million in revenue. Ethan made $72,000 at the bank. Every Sunday, they still asked him about work. Every Sunday, they still asked me, "How's work?" The call came on November 18th. I had just come home from a job site. My jacket smelled like sawdust. There was drywall dust on my jeans. I saw Mom's name on my phone. "Hey, Mom." "Hi, sweetie." Her voice had that careful tone. "So, Thanksgiving," she said. "We need to talk about Thanksgiving." I leaned against the counter. "Okay." "Ethan is bringing his girlfriend this year, Natalie. It's the first time she's meeting the family." I waited. He asked if maybe this year it could just be immediate family. Him, Natalie, me, and Dad. "Mom," I said, "I am immediate family." "I know, honey, but Ethan wants to make a good impression." "Worried about what?" She hesitated. "He said your job might be awkward to explain." "My job?" Natalie is very professional, she said. She works in design. Ethan is trying to present a certain image. And I don't fit that image. She sighed. He said you're a construction worker, and he doesn't want Natalie thinking we're blue collar. I stared at my hands, dirt under my nails, a blister on my palm. So I'm uninvited. It's just this year. It's fine, Mum. Thank you for being mature about this, she said. I hung up. I stood there in my kitchen, still wearing my jacket, wondering when I'd become the thing my family needed to hide. They never asked, so I never told them the truth. I started Whitman Build and Design in 2020. I had worked 3 years as a project manager at Davidson Construction. I knew how to read plans, manage crews, calm clients, and keep projects moving. I registered the LLC, got insurance, bought a used white Dodge Ram, and started from scratch. At Sunday dinner, I told my parents. I started a company, I said. My mother smiled politely. That's nice, honey. Then she turned to Ethan. Did you hear back about that team lead position? By the end of year 2, I'd finished 14 projects and hired my first employee, Marco Santos, a carpenter with 20 years of experience. By year 3, I landed a $120,000 renovation project. We finished on time and under budget. By year 4, I had a team, a house, and nearly $1 million in revenue. By year 5, Whitman Build was projected to bring in $2.8 million. That same year, I hired an interior designer for a historic renovation project in Myers Park. Her name was Natalie Cross. We met in July. She was sharp, professional, and knew exactly what she was doing. We clicked immediately. She never asked much about my background. She saw C. Whitman, owner, on the emails and contract, and that was enough. On site, I wore jeans, boots, and carried a tape measure. She probably thought I was a supervisor. I never corrected her. In September, she mentioned she had started dating someone. He works in finance, she said, at Bank of America. I didn't ask his name. I had no idea she was dating Ethan. I had no idea Ethan described me as his sister who works in construction. I had no idea Natalie pictured someone carrying supplies, not the person signing her checks. 3 days before Thanksgiving, Natalie was at the Myers Park house, helping me choose paint colors. Her phone buzzed, and she smiled. My boyfriend is excited for Thanksgiving, she said. That's sweet, I said. It's the first time I'm meeting his family. I'm sure it'll be fine. 2 days later, my mother uninvited me. 3 days after that, Natalie walked into the Charlotte Home Builders Association annual awards. She walked in as Ethan's girlfriend. And she saw me accept an award as Claire Whitman, owner of Whitman Build and Design. Thanksgiving Day came. I spent it alone. I went to one of my job sites, finished trim work, ate leftover Thai food on the porch, and ignored a text from Ethan that said, Happy Thanksgiving. 5 days later, I went to the awards ceremony. I wore a black suit and heels. I looked polished, professional. The ballroom was full of contractors, architects, suppliers, and bank executives. Then I saw them. My parents, Ethan, Natalie. They had no idea I was there. The MC stepped on stage. Let's start with one of our most exciting categories, she said. Contractor of the Year, under 35. 3 names appeared on the screen. Daniel Pritchard, Claire Whitman, Sam Greenberg. At their table, Natalie froze. She grabbed the program booklet. She read my company description. 68 residential projects. 19 employees. $2.8 million in revenue. She turned to Ethan. His face went white. My mother looked at the screen. Her hand flew to her chest. Then the MC opened the envelope. And this year's Contractor of the Year, under 35, is Claire Whitman, Whitman Build and Design. The room erupted. I stood up. I walked to the stage. I passed their table. My mother looked frozen. My father looked stunned. Ethan looked like he'd been slapped. Natalie wasn't looking at me. She was looking at them. I took the award. Thank you, I said. 5 years ago, I started Whitman Build with a truck, a tool belt, and a belief that good work speaks for itself. Today, we've built 68 homes, employ 19 people, and proven that if you show up, do the work, and respect the craft, the rest takes care of itself. To everyone who believed in what we could build, even when it wasn't visible yet, thank you. Afterward, my mother found me. We had no idea, she said. That's correct, I said. My father asked, why didn't you tell us? I looked at him. I did, 5 years ago. You said, that's nice, honey, and asked Ethan about his promotion. My mother looked embarrassed. But this is a real company, she said. What did you think I did? I asked. I walked away. Ethan caught me near the coat check. I didn't know it was this big, he said. You never asked, I said. You could have told us. I did, every Sunday. You just didn't listen. He looked angry, ashamed. Natalie won't even look at me. That's not my problem. You're really going to hold this against me? You uninvited me to Thanksgiving because my job embarrassed you. The job that pays 3 times what you make. The job I built from nothing. Yeah, Ethan, I'm going to hold that. Then Natalie found me. I'm so sorry, she said. You didn't know, I told her. He lied to me, she said quietly. He called you the family embarrassment. He said you'd never amount to anything. I didn't react. She handed me a business card. When you're ready to talk about the Morrison project, call me, professional only. I'm done with Ethan. Then my parents stopped me again. Can we take you to dinner? My mother asked. I looked at her. No, I said, but thank you for asking. 3 days later, my father emailed me. Subject: We owe you an apology. He wrote, We failed you. We assumed. We dismissed you. We never asked what you were building because we were afraid it wouldn't fit the picture we had in our heads. We were wrong. I'm proud of you. I should have said that 5 years ago. A few days later, I met my mother for coffee. She looked tired. Why? I asked her. Why did you never ask? She wrapped her hands around her cup. I wanted you to have an easier life, she said. I thought construction meant struggle, low pay, no respect. I didn't think it could become what you made it. Because you never looked, I said. She nodded, tears in her eyes. I needed you to be proud of me, I said. I am now, she said. Does that count? I don't know yet. Before we left, I told her I would come for Christmas. One condition, I said. If anyone jokes about my job or treats it like it's less important than Ethan's, I'm leaving. She nodded. I understand. Christmas was better. Not perfect. Better. My father asked about my latest project. My mother asked if she could see the house I was renovating. Ethan stayed quiet. Months later, in June 2026, I stood on a job site in South Park watching framers raise the last wall of a custom home. Whitman Build had moved into a real office. The Crystal Award sat on a shelf by the window. My mother called me that afternoon. Not on a Sunday. On a Thursday. She asked about permits, inspections, clients. Real questions. At the end of the call, she said, "Love you, honey." "Love you too, Mum," I said. I used to think I was building houses. Turns out, I was building proof. Proof that I was worth listening to, worth seeing, worth asking about. I don't need to prove that anymore. But I'll keep building anyway. Because I love it. And that's the part they're finally starting to understand.